Hi. So this morning, I've been reading, but watching your inspiration videos and the stories that everybody's been sharing. And they're such like amazing stories, and it's true. Sorry, I didn't know your name, but the woman that did the "This is my inspiration" thought that was yours. That there's reasons, and in those layers there's stories, and it's great to hear how people found inspiration in some of those stories. And So I wanted to take an opportunity to remember to remind myself what my inspirations are, and I wrote them down on a little card, kind of like a card like this, of the things that inspire me and keep me inspired. And I keep those cards readily available. Like on little post-its in my bathroom and cabinet, and on my cell phone, on a little note. And I've been thinking of making it the text that runs across my saver, because that's the advice that I got from this great book that's called The Beck Diet Solutions. I know, screw books, whatever. But it's a book that's more about how to retrain. So think like a thin person, which I don't like that either, because I know a lot of thin people that have really bad problems with food as well, but their bodies just haven't processed it the same way. But basically, it's like to retrain your thinking around food, and I've just noticed it's such a key thing. So, anyways, the number one inspiration for me. Well, and again, going back it up. Um, as a young person, as a young woman growing up, I grew up in a very difficult um, situation with really young parents, and so as a result of that, I spent a lot of time, or how I coped with that. It was definitely as young as I can remember, as young as like under 10, I can remember coping with difficult situations with food, and that's how my family coped with things. And certainly that's how my mom copes with things. There has a lot of issues around food. My mom is currently severely anorexic, and she's survived and she's doing really well. But the same struggle that I have with food is the same struggle she has. And it's just constant obsession around food. And it can play itself out in overeating, it can play itself out in anorexia. It's an eating disorder, and that's ultimately what it is. And how you treat that is through looking at those layers and all that stuff. So, anyways, um, yeah, as a young person, I just had that was my coping mechanism. And then, of course, my coping mechanisms led to other things as I grew up as a teenager. Definitely not into fitness. Fitness was for losers who didn't understand how difficult life was. And so I focused on um, hanging out with people who are a lot older than me, really unhealthy lifestyle, smoking, drinking, lots of other unmentionable kinds of behavior. And I just didn't, I was on a path. I remember telling somebody when I was like 12 that I'd probably not live past 16. So that was what my outlook was. And um, it had shifted into more positive kind of outlook. I was, I would say definitely when I was a teenager, I was pretty not okay. Especially as a preteen, I would cut and I was a runaway. I was lived on the street, begged for stuff, well, money so that I could drink with my friends. I would run away from home for months on end, and that was starting at 12. So that was difficult. Anyway, somehow I managed to just sort myself out. And I'm such a believer that you're the only one that can sort yourself out. I went back to school at like 18 to finish high school. And I went to university. And I was still like a hot mess in university, but somehow I finished my degree. And then from there, I worked with the street kids for a long time. And, who were in similar situations. I wanted to, give that message back. Like, yes, life can suck and it's not fair. It's not fair, and no one's ever going to make it fair for you. And you have to just figure yourself out. But I just held a lot of pain from that situation, and held a lot of pain, and I still didn't see, like, actually you have to embrace all those people that you are angry at because their life is great or seemingly great. And that's what I've learned now. It seems great. Um, those habits, those things that they have access to. I should be wanting access to those things, not rejecting it because I can't or it's difficult for me to access. So I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah. So instead of yeah, instead of rejecting like, oh, those kids from the nice neighborhoods who are like part of a club. I was definitely much the kid in high school that was like all in black smoking or whatever, or all in whatever I was and doing whatever it was. But and now, yeah. Anyways, and I still thought that I had a different perspective, and then I went and did development work that's what the venture was for me. Is I went and did development work in a developing country, Cambodia. I stayed there for 7 years, and you get a whole different sense of what you should be thankful for and embracing in life when you watch somebody with that their arms and legs have been blown off from landmines and they're dragging themselves through like 40-degree weather through the dusty road to beg from people with a smile on their face and with so much gratitude, and children that literally don't have clothes that are begging for the equivalent of 5 cents for something to eat. So that changed my perspective and helped me become a really more positive thinker. But my real inspiration, and you guys have seen my little daughter. So after all that learning and all that stuff, and then I had my daughter, and she got me to um, so I mean, one of your videos said that, oh, like you look in the mirror, you wouldn't know yourself anymore. I'm the opposite. This big, angry, not angry, but like kind of negative, kind of depressive person is the only person I know. And through having my daughter, she's letting me see, like, there's somebody that can be fun and positive and try hard and go for things. And I have to be there for her, and I have to be an example for her. So that is my main inspiration for anything that I'm doing nowadays. That's my absolute inspiration. And in Canada, it's Thanksgiving. So I thought I'd let all of you Americans give you a tip because I'm going through Thanksgiving right now. make sure you have protein solutions readily available in the morning, in the afternoon, as a snack. Just be really prepared for that because this morning I woke up after having like a pre-Thanksgiving friend dinner, and there was pumpkin pie in the fridge. So what did I have? A few bites of pumpkin pie. So as soon as I saw that, I was like red alert for the rest of the day. And I had a protein shake. And when I eat protein, I don't want to eat anything. Like it really has this satisfying effect on me. So I'm just sticking close to my protein and my gang of coffee. And yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to my story. I don't think I've ever told anybody that story in that way. So certainly not in this kind of public form. And it's definitely successes, and I count my successes every day. And this is just like I have to let go. The process of me losing weight is me letting go of all the difficult things and the tragedies that came along with being a vulnerable 12 and 13-year-old, and 16 and 17 and 18, maybe until I was 32. Out in the world, making myself available to people who also had a lot of problems. So I have to let that go. And this process of me losing this weight is going to be the process of letting all of that go. And it's been a struggle emotionally. It hasn't been easy. But so thank you for listening, and have a great weekend. I get a long weekend in Canada. Woo! It's Thanksgiving. So lots to be thankful